right, welcome back to the Intangible Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Spencer. I'm here with Nelson Smith. And Nelson, man, I'm excited to sit down and have a conversation. When you think about the new age baseball world that you're in, and I don't want to give it away yet, but really excited to understand and take us through your journey and how you've gotten to where you are. You started your career at Melville College, played baseball and football. Mm-hmm. Then you went over to
Carson Newman.
And did you continue to play football at Carson Newman?
Just baseball.
Just baseball.
For my fifth year.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Fifth year. But you did all this during COVID.
Correct.
And I can't imagine the whole world shut down and you're trying to figure out life in college. You're away from home, you're isolated. And so we're going to get into all that. So I'm really excited to have you here. Welcome to the Intangible Podcast.
Yeah, no, well, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here and to be able to dive into a little bit of intangibles and kind of what I feel like has separated me throughout my career and pick your brain a little bit too on what intangibles might mean to you. So
absolutely. Let's have a conversation. Well, before we get started, because of the banana ball piece of it, we just watched the World Series. It was fantastic series.
Insane.
I mean, some unbelievable plays. Yeah. If you were playing in the World Series and you were allowed to do some of the things you guys do in banana ball, what would you be doing?
Well, the trick plays would be tricky because they're in Game 7. Once you hit the extra innings, it's a little bit different in banana ball, but trick plays are paramount to what we do. But when you get to the end of the game and you get a little bit tight, you don't necessarily want to rip all the trick plays in the world. So that's where it would be a little bit different. Banana ball to baseball is trying to win the game because it is competitive, but also add that entertainment aspect of a trick play or doing something cool in the outfield. So it's a little bit different. Game 7 of the World Series, I don't know how much entertainment would be happening on field. It'd be, let's go win the game. And you could see those guys, they were definitely locked in going into extras right there.
Yeah. So. Well, so because it's such high stakes, do you think at some point during those type of series that you should be able to pick one game, one inning, and do something fun? Do you think that should bleed over into baseball to bring more eyes to it? Because I think about what banana ball has done, man. There's so many kids and so many eyeballs. You guys are selling out football stadiums. Mm-hmm. So just do you think it's some aspect of what you guys do there could be really cool when you're talking about these big series?
Yeah, well, I think just the aspect that would be most easy to translate is to celebrate big. In college baseball, they've kind of restricted people in terms of you can't celebrate unless you're in the dugout or you can't flip or you get thrown out, like things like that. MLB, it's a little bit less tight on that, but just being able, like if you hit a home run to tie the game, celebrate big, like let your guys get out on celebrate that. I think that would be something that wouldn't be too far over the line, but right up to it to where it's like it engages the fans, it shows the excitement. And that's what banana ball is all about, is involving the fans, bringing the excitement and celebrating big. So.
Yeah. I'm still going to keep figuring out how do we get something that's banana ball into to the big boys, because I think it's pretty cool. Oh, yeah. But before all of this, all of the social media, before COVID, I want to go back to your upbringing. I want to go back to how did you grow up? How did you get involved with baseball, and what are those pieces that really drove you early on in life?
Right. Yeah. So, I've always done sports. Going into early middle school and high school, I played soccer. I was in karate. I got my black belt in karate. I did football. I did basketball. I did baseball. All of it. I was always in season, always playing. One, because I loved it, and two, because it was just fun.
Yeah.
And so got to high school, played 3 sports in high school: football, basketball, baseball. Always in season. Never a question. Never had to do the off-season training. Never had to get into any of that. Which, looking back, I was like, man, I kind of lucked out because I always got to play a game. I never really had to do the practice. So it was fun doing that. And then going into college, did 2 sports. The recruiting path for me was a little bit different because I knew I wanted to play too. And so I had some offers to go play football, but not baseball.
Let's pause there.
Let's do it.
What position in football did you play? Were you a quarterback?
How'd you know?
I mean, when you think about baseball players, quarterbacks or some type of kicker or tight end.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Quarterback. Always quarterback. So I had offers to go do one sport, but not the other. But in my heart of hearts, if I could, I would have played basketball, but it's right there in the middle. So I knew it wouldn't be likely to pull that off with another sport. So football and baseball was where my heart was. I had offers in AI, D2, some small D1 preferred walk-on stuff, but nobody wanted to let me do both.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's hard, man.
Yeah,
It's
is.
a full-time job.
Yeah. So what I did was I took the offers I had and I looked up the opposite coach. So if I had it for football, I looked up the baseball coach. If I had it for baseball, I looked up the football coach. And I gave him a ring. I said, hey, I've got an offer to your school. Would you be interested in letting me explore playing both? And so I think it was maybe the second call to Maryville College. And the baseball coach said, if you're good enough. And I said, let me send you my stats, highlights. Let's see what happens. So I sent all that to him. And an hour or two later, he called back. He said, yep, you can do it. So come on. And so it was a no-brainer for me to go to Maryville to play football and baseball. Had a blast. Freshman year, I came in, earned a starting role in both sports.
Wow.
And I did very well. We won the conference championship for the first time in school history for football. Got to baseball, had like a 390 average. Like I was on top of the world.
How do you manage both sports at an elite level?
Time management is paramount, I would say. For me, it was always what's in season. If it's football season, my mind is totally football. But as soon as that last game's over, it's baseball season. Then, for me, it's being able to do multiple things, but have extreme focus on where your feet are.
Right.
And being able to play 3 sports in high school, 2 sports in college. I think that is essential to anybody that wants to do more than one thing, is not to be so scatterbrained because you're doing a lot of things, but to be elite on where your feet are. And I think that kind of helps.
I like that. Be elite where your feet are.
Mm-hmm.
I also wonder if there's a good mental break as well as you transition into a different sport, where now you've been so focused on football, taking that punishment, doing that, film studies and training. And now all of a sudden, instead of going back into training for football, now you're training something completely different.
Right.
Now you're in the baseball world. So I would assume that there's some type of mental break for you there.
A little bit, yeah. It's a mental break, and even not as much as a physical break, because football, baseball, a lot of what I was doing as a quarterback translated from throwing to hitting. Like it's all rotational athlete things that I did. So physical, not so much, but you make a good point. I think there was pretty good mental break between each season.
Yeah. And going through that process, what did, playing multiple sports in college, what kind of resilience do you think that really taught you?
So much. Each sport brings a different challenge. Football, the workouts are always hard.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, but it's a different type of hard. And for football, you're going in the weight room at 5 a.m. and you're cranking out a workout. You're trying to lift heavy weight fast. Even as a quarterback, I know sometimes that's so somewhat heavyweight fast, while the big guys do a lot. I've
actually been around some really strong quarterbacks, so I'm not gonna give you guys too much of a hard time.
That aspect's there to a degree. Baseball, you'll go in and you'll be at the field for 6 hours. Like it's going to be, you'll lift weights, you'll go out, you practice, then you'll kind of stand around, then you got to hit the ground running because we're scrimmaging. And it's 2 very different types of hard.
Right.
But it's all hard.
Yeah.
So I think the resilience factor by doing multiple was built up even more.
Well, and I talked about this earlier this week about just mental toughness, and mental toughness is, and I want to add to it where you say, hey, it's, doing elite things where your feet are. And I think you're just giving me something to add to it is, working on your mental toughness is doing hard things where your feet are.
Certainly.
So I like that.
Yeah.
But I think about the playing college ball, playing pro ball, and the amount of work that goes into it, the the resilience training that you get mentally is just as important as that resilience training that you get with your body physically.
Right.
And so when you think about doing all this and you're getting all this resilience training, you're also doing this during COVID.
Let's jump right into that.
Yes, let's jump into, how did you, I experienced COVID differently. I experienced COVID as a parent with 3 kids at home, doing schoolwork and teaching. We become the teacher at home. And when I say we, I mean a royal we, because my wife was more the teacher. But got to experience, having kids at home. I can imagine now. I got family, and we're close quarters, and you're off in college and you're in dorm rooms. You're not with your family, and then you're doing multiple sports. Take us through that process.
Yeah, 100%. So I understand COVID was hard for everybody, whether you were in high school and you missed senior prom, or you're in college, or you've got a family at home. It was hard, but I'll elaborate a little bit on my type of hard.
Yeah.
So we go back to freshman year. I'm on top of the world. Head into sophomore year. This is 2019, right before the world is about to go into chaos, but we didn't know.
Yeah.
3rd game of the season in the fall for football. Things were going great. I was doing well. I had a play action rollout to the right. Had a guy in the flats, guy deep, and a crosser coming across the field. Guy in the flats fell down, whatever. Done. Like he was out. I don't know what happened to him. The read, not there. Got to look on. Guy down the field, covered, like double covered, like not even, shouldn't throw it there. So I look for my crosser. At this point in time, the linebacker starts coming at me because the guy, he didn't have to cover the guy in the flats, like coming at me hard. So I try and throw it to my crosser, rolling right, kind of come up on my right foot. I'm up in the air and he hits me, get the ball off, but I go falling to the right. So I stick my hands out and I fall right on my right shoulder. Boom. Pops up. Immediately, I know something's off. Yeah. Tore my rotator cuff. Dominant arm. As a two-sport throwing athlete, devastating.
Yeah.
So that was fall of 2019. Have surgery, have about a year-long recovery ahead of me.
Yeah.
This is where faith for me came in quite a bit. My identity, for better or worse, had become sports.
Right.
And so I had to tap into a different side that, I thought was good until it came to push and shove. And it was like, man, I really need to tap into my faith.
Right.
And so something for me that has been pivotal has been Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. It's working for the Lord, not for man. And so that's a verse I have on my glove in baseball now. And it's a verse that I hold true to my heart. That whatever you're doing, if you can work at it for the Lord, whether it be sports or whether it be recovering from an injury in sports, or being a good dad or a husband or something like that. That's what I try and live to.
Right.
So I'm bringing you around right here.
Like
so we're going out of injury, starting to feel better, and then 2020 happens, right? I'm coming out of it. I'm like, all right, I've got my faith good. Like I'm feeling good. I'm physically starting to get back. March, boom, COVID hits. Baseball season suspended. We didn't know what happened. And then football season in the fall, it even got kicked to the curb.
Right.
So I had just gone through about a year-long recovery process, and then the world shuts down, and I don't know what to do. So this kind of comes back to what we were talking about earlier, hard work, right? If you can put yourself through hard things where your feet are willingly, I think that helps when unseen circumstances that are hard happen.
Right.
And so I feel like throughout my training as an athlete, and you could probably attest to this too, the hard stuff you did willingly helped you with the unseen hard stuff.
Absolutely.
And so for me, COVID was tough, yes, but it wasn't unbearable because I'd done hard things before.
Yeah.
So to me, this was just another hard thing that I had to get through where my feet were.
Yeah. No, when I think about that too, is like everything is shut down. Mm-hmm. I don't think people realize when you're going through a 6-month, year-long recovery, how mentally taxing that is. Because there's also that level of, I got to get back on the field and do this again. Yeah. But you're now in a place where it's getting back to a place to do it again. It's not there.
Gone.
and it's completely gone. So
Right.
now you have to start thinking about what is that next thing,
Mhm.
and it pushes you to do that way quicker than you was hoping that you had to.
Mhm.
I'm assuming.
Mhm.
So as you're sitting there in COVID and trying to figure out what to do, and all of a sudden you pick up a camera and you start figuring out content creation. What what drove you to keep moving, to get into something, to pick up something new? You already had your plate full with injuries, and then also two sports. Again, they wasn't there, but what drove you to start saying, "Hey, I want to start doing something else"?
For me, I've always been at a crossroads of, is social media good or is it bad?
Mm,
And I think a lot of people can kind of see where I'm coming at with that.
yeah,
Same thing with the Bible speaks about money. Is it good or is it bad? I don't think anything is quote unquote good or bad, but more so how you use
I
it
use it.
is where that
Yeah,
comes into play. So as I kind of stepped into social media a little bit, like I was between literally deleting everything and just living my life, or let's see what this is about and go all in. And for me, it really came to that question of, is it good or is it bad? No, what I do with it kind of determines that. So I've tried to pour out positivity, to pour out relatability, to pour out real stuff.
yeah.
I think a lot of social media is fake. I think a lot of it drives insecurity.
Mm,
So the more you can be real and the more you can post authentic things, I think the better it is for the people on the other side of the screen
right,
and the better it is for you.
right.
So coming into that aspect of my life, I've really tried to keep that at the forefront of my mind.
Yeah,
Not is it good or is it bad, but what am I doing with it
yeah.
for better or worse?
Well, I mean, take me through some of the content that you started with. You've you grew your followership over 200 some thousand followers, over 25 million likes. How did you get that content? How did you get vulnerable enough to say, this is the direction I'm going in, and I'm going to be vulnerable, and to get people to really connect with Nelson,
Right.
the
Yeah. So
human,
so for
not Nelson
me,
the baseball, not Nelson the football, but Nelson the human.
right. Yeah. So it's a great question. And I've kind of learned along the way. Initially I didn't know I always posted and had some things, but it's like, all right, if I'm gonna do this, I want to take it to the next level. I need to get real.
Mm.
And so for me, that has been a journey of posting line dancing. I got into that after. So we'll take it back. It's even, I got into social media more so after collegiate sports.
Yeah,
It was whenever I didn't know what I was going to do next. It
right.
was like, all right, let's just start posting some stuff. And so
Yeah,
at the time, I got into some line dancing. I was training to go play for Nashville Cats. Like I
okay,
was like, all right, let's get back into the world and go play arena football.
right.
And so I was posting football stuff, dancing, like just silly things, but trying to be more comfortable on camera to the point where I could start talking to the camera like I am now. So this is a big jump for me, being better talking to a camera. And I think if you can post what you do, you essentially show who you are.
Yeah,
Where you get into a danger zone of social media is if you're posting stuff you don't do.
yeah,
Like if you're trying to breed a personality that isn't true to you.
right.
And for me, I found it easy because it's just I'm posting what I do.
Yeah,
Like I'm posting who I am. And I think that's where people can either get in trouble or really find themselves. And
right.
and that's where I've kind of landed, is finding myself a little bit through posting. It's like I'm just posting who I am and what I'm doing. Like I'm just showing y'all like what happens daily.
Yeah,
So what's wrong with that, right?
yeah. But at what moment though, in you figuring it out, you're working your way through this social media and posting.
Mm.
At what moment did that really start to resonate? Like, I actually may have something here. I'm becoming a good content creator.
I think it was whenever my first video got 1 million views. Like I posted it, went to sleep, woke up, and it was like 500K. I was like, whoa. And it just kept going. I was like, what's going on here? And in that moment, it was like if you take a room full of 20 people and you're speaking to them,
Right.
that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
500 people in a room. You're speaking to them. That's pretty cool. Then you start thinking, like in my mind, Nissan Stadium right down the road, you get 70, 80,000 people in there. That many people watch me talk.
Yeah.
And then I try and calculate what 1 million people would look like.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, that's crazy. Like social media is so crazy because you can have that many people hear what you have to say. But if you put it in a physical aspect, it's like, man, like that's insane. So that was the moment where I was like, this could be a game changer.
Yeah.
Like if I'm posting things authentic to myself and people can hear what my message is, I think it's worth tapping into.
To think about your career playing multiple sports and then
Mhm.
think about, you kind of get on this journey and start to create content to then evolving this whole thing to blending it all together. I mean, it's mind blowing. And you think about you're now part of one of the wildest, funnest, entertaining sports
It's crazy.
that's on the planet right now,
Right.
which is pretty darn cool. How did you think about blending all of those pieces together into the world of baseball? Was it, well, actually, let me go back. Can you explain what banana ball is to some of the people who may not know what banana ball is?
Yeah. So let's take baseball. You've got a baseball game. You have a 2-hour time limit. You have trick plays happening all the time. And you have a competitive game that you never know the results to. But you don't. There are choreographed pieces, not the game itself, but for instance, a player walking up might do a dance with his teammates.
Right.
Or a pitcher during the 6th inning might break out into a dance with the shortstop and second baseman behind him and then throw a pitch live. That's choreographed. But is the batter going to swing? We don't know. Is he going to hit a home? Like, we don't know. So there are choreographed bits to banana ball.
Yeah.
But what makes it stand out is there's no set outcome to the game itself.
Is that not difficult for you as
It's
an ultimate competitor?
it's one of the most difficult things in the world. A lot of people. I'll beat you to the jump here. Compare the Harlem Globetrotters.
Mhm.
So in a way, yes, but not at all. The Harlem Globetrotters, they sold out Madison Square Garden twice. They went to Berlin and played in front of 75,000 people. They were popular. Wilt Chamberlain played for them
Right.
before going to the NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they were popular, but what they did at the height of their popularity was they said, let's make another Globetrotters team. Let's keep filling this team and playing the Generals and winning every game. The script never changed. Banana ball is different because we just added 2 more. There's 6 total teams. There's going to be a league. The Bananas they lost down the first round of the playoffs this year. So it's like the home team doesn't always win.
Yeah.
The outcomes are never scripted, but the same element of fun and tricks as the Globetrotters are there. So it is a fair comparison for that, but the game itself is totally different.
Is there a recruiting process to this? When you think about the NFL, you think about it's like there's a recruiting process, and what is their recruiting process and what is the criteria? You got to be able to play baseball. You have to be able to,
Right.
create and be fun and create content, like how do they recruit in this world?
So the name of the company with Banana Ball is Fans First Entertainment. That's the foundation, is the fans. And so whenever you look at a prospective player or potential player, there's 3 buckets that are really analyzed. It's, are you a good player? First of all, like, can you hang? Have you played baseball at a high level? 2, do you have good social media presence? Are you willing to post?
Mhm.
Are you willing to get out of your comfort zone? Maybe do a dance on the field.
Yeah.
Like if you can't do that, then it's like you got to at least be willing.
Right.
You may not have to be good, but you got to be willing. And then 3,
The line dancing took it over the top, huh?
so I checked that pretty easy. But then 3 is, are you a good person? And are you a good person with people? Because what we do on a daily basis, like a game day, for instance, we'll go out and we'll have 12-hour days, and half of that time is spent signing, talking to fans, out there after the game for 2 hours, hanging out with the fans, talking with little kids. Like it's insane how much emphasis is put on the fans, but I think it's because of that there's been so much success.
Right.
So looking at it from a recruitment place, what I did was I just sent in a video application. I was nearing the end of college ball. I knew I wasn't going to get picked up in the draft. I was like, well, let's see what happens here. Sent an application, video application, didn't hear back, forgot about it. Then I got hit back. And they have tryouts every year, exclusive. So I was one of 97 in that tryout the year that I went. And only 5 to 6 made it through that to a team.
Wow.
And so it's like they really evaluate all of those aspects. Are you a good player? Are you a good person? And are you willing to post and get uncomfortable?
Take me through the tryout setup.
Is there a
stage on the field where you start out dancing?
No, it's literally you go to a baseball field. I went down to Daytona. They did one this year at Vanderbilt at Hawkins Field. So right down the road. But you get there and it is a Halloween costume contest with music playing nonstop and dancing happening at random times. That's what it is. People go there and try backflips that have never backflipped. People go there wearing 3 different people make costume changes. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to stand out.
Right.
Because you've got 3 to 4 hours to make an in-person impact on the coaches and the recruiting people. And it's like, how can you be different?
Right.
And in a world that's already vastly different, you gotta bring everything to the table. So it's the best way I describe it is a Halloween costume contest on a baseball field.
How did you stand out? 97, you said 97 people in that one?
So
to be one of the 5 to make that next jump.
Right. So I went in the classic, I was in a banana costume, but I had underneath like a different romper, like a male romper. So it was like pink flamingos and stuff. So trying to represent both the 2 main teams.
Right.
I made a costume change. I somehow ripped a backflip catch without ever doing it before. And I went up and I just tried to introduce myself to everybody. So I tried to show my baseball skills. I felt like my dancing skills had been displayed via social media. So I just wanted to show that like I was a real person that cared about people. And so I tried to play well and interact well. And it worked out for me.
Yeah. I've got a chance to see a video, you spinning the football in the middle of a play. What is your entertainment style, so to speak, when you're trying to do it? Are you focused more on that entertaining aspect of the dancing, or are you focused more on the baseball? Do you want that portion of it to really, come through? Because, you got to almost pick one to lead, I guess. Who's going to be the lead dancer for you?
For me?
Yeah.
Me. When it comes to the dancing, watch out.
Well, what I mean is, how do are you from a creative? Are you letting that lead, or are you letting your baseball lead? Being that you are a baseball player,
gotcha,
who wanted to play at an elite level, played at an elite level, and now you're in this place where you have to do it all. And so, how do you, which one do you let lead you? In those moments.
Yeah, I'd say for everybody involved, it ebbs and flows. For me personally, my foot in the door was the line dancing. And to be able to get a foot in the door with that, it's kind of like I got to let that lead.
Yeah.
But then it's like when you get up to the plate or you go and you're taking off around second, like it's instinctive that the baseball takes over.
Yeah.
And so it's really just depending on the moment. And depending on where the game's at, like we referenced with the games, if it's bottom 9, game 7 of the World Series for banana ball, like you're not going to let the dancing lead. You're going to let the baseball take over.
Fair enough.
And so it ebbs and flows throughout each game and each weekend.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Now, one thing that I'm curious about is the locker room. How is the locker room different from being in a locker room playing college ball, whether it's baseball or football? How is this locker room?
Amazing.
Yeah.
So first off, like the physical locker room itself, the teams share the locker room together. So like we'll go take over the Phillies stadium, Citizens Bank, for instance, and we share a locker room. We share the away locker room.
Oh, that's cool.
And so like it's the tailgaters and the bananas in the same locker room, changing together, chatting it up, showering after the game. Like it's physically like we're together. Like this whole organization is like together. But whenever you get on the field, competitiveness takes over, and that's where it gets a little bit different. But a little bit more abstract. The locker room for Banana Ball is you're an athlete. You know that locker rooms have really good athletes that maybe aren't great people.
Yeah.
And for baseball, I know I can speak to my experiences. There's not always great people on every team, but really good players. For Banana Ball, it's great players and great people. So there's not a single person in that locker room that wouldn't give you the shirt off their back if that's what you needed.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's been the most cool thing about this entire experience is they bring in such good people. It's unreal.
Yeah.
The chemistry, the chatter, like it's all positive and good. And I love that.
That's cool. That's really cool, man. It's been fun to watch it grow. And this is also really fun for me to hear the other side of what really goes on in that process, and how do you again blend all these different worlds that you've been able to create into a world where you're thriving in.
Right.
What is the longevity of a career in Banana Ball? Do we even know yet?
I don't think we really know. There's one guy on the Firefighters, another team in Banana Ball, who's touching 40, but he's doing backflips and cartwheels and stuff you've never seen on a baseball field before. So I don't know that there's going to be an age limit, young or old.
Yeah.
I think it's more so. I don't know what the longevity is yet, because we're brand new in this sport, and to see it unfold while being a part of it is really cool. So,
and how's the injuries in this sport? Are they just the same as?
Yeah, you'll see some guys get injured more trying to do a backflip or a round off standing whatever.
Yeah.
Than you will on the like. There's still normal baseball injuries, like people slide into a base and break a finger, like things like that happen. But add the element of acrobatics, and it levels up some injuries, but not anything too crazy from what I've been able to tell.
Yeah, we're gonna jump to a quick 2-minute.
Let's do it.
And then before we get too far into this, these are gonna be some rapid fire questions for you that just let it flow. If you want to expand on some, feel free to do so.
I'll try and be as rapid fire as possible.
All right. We're going to start with the first one. What's been your favorite ballpark to play in?
Citizens Bank in Philadelphia. It was the loudest and coolest park I've been in.
All right. Pre-game hype song.
I'm more of a chillax guy myself, so I'll throw on All Right by Darius Rucker.
Okay. All right. Country fan. All right.
Sure.
Right. Give me one of your funniest teammates that you've been around.
I think Cole Kitchen. And why I say Cole Kitchen is because he wears toe socks and pitches in flip-flops. If that tells you anything about his personality. He dyes his mustache orange, and he has a spatula in his back pocket. When he strikes somebody out, he flips the imaginary burger. So that in and of itself is funny, but he's a funny guy all around.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I gotta wait to find some stuff on him. What is your go-to move to hype the crowd up?
Go-to move. I think in Banana Ball across the board, the go-to move is to take your jersey off and wave it above your head, and just crowd loves that. So,
all right. Okay. Man, you're rolling. Go back to your content days. Who is your favorite content creator to follow?
Ooh. I love Gary V, because he seems to me like a real authentic, brings the energy, brings the juice, does a lot of good talking into the camera. And so that's more what I'm striving to be. Yeah. And so for me, I think Gary V is a really good content creator.
Okay. I like it. All right. Last one for you. Who is the best dancer on your team?
Well, I mean, me, duh. Gotta say that, right?
Perfect. We're gonna find some of these line dancing and some of your other teammates, and then we're gonna post it. So
come on, bring it on.
We're gonna let the audience decide.
Let them decide. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, we're gonna jump back into it. I don't want to spend too much more time on the banana ball, but when I think about, this new league and how much fun has it been?
As much fun as you can imagine, times 100. The most fun I've ever had on a baseball field has been banana ball.
So if someone said, "Hey, we want you to just take money out of it, we're gonna sign you to a contract to play Major League Baseball, and because now you've done this, we're gonna sign you to a contract to be a part of the banana ball," which one would you choose? Taking money out of it.
Taking money out of it. For me personally, I think if it was the Boston Red Sox, I'd do that. Any other team, probably not. That's just because the kid in me is like, yes. But realistically, banana ball is so special because in the major leagues and professional sports, there's always the thought in the back of your mind that you're worried about dropping back down to AAA or getting picked. Like there's always somebody else coming.
It's tough.
For banana ball, you're not worried about that. Everybody is like, there's not a upper league or a lower league. Like there's not trading on the teams midseason. Like you're like exactly what we said at the beginning. You are where your feet are for the better.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be there. Everybody, like the camaraderie is amazing. And because of those things, I honestly think I would say banana ball over the MLB because of those things.
You talk a lot about things that you aspire to be behind the camera. How long do you think you want to do this for? You talk a lot about your faith, your foundation. If your faith being your foundation, where does this lead you? Because what I'm looking at is when we talk about these intangibles, we're talking about. I see, the composure, the resilience, and leadership, that come through. The fact that you can sit around and talk to kids and for hours and hours and inspire them. Where does all this fill into a bucket and go for you?
I think you said it best right there. Faith is the foundation for me. And my life verse, Colossians 3:23, whatever I'm doing, whether that be banana ball, talking to a camera, or going out and working a 9 to 5, I think faith is the foundation. We're called to love God and love people. And for me, I think that intersects perfectly with banana ball. Content creation, yes. Baseball, yes. But the fans first mentality is as Christ-like as you can get. Because what is it at its root? You're loving people. And for me, I think that is the perfect intersection of my interest as well as my foundation in life. And so where do I go from here? Right where my feet are.
As we start to kind of come to a close here, I start thinking about these different type of intangibles and these things that has made you who you are. When you think about them for yourself, what are certain intangibles that really sticks out for you of this is who Nelson is. This is what Nelson is about, who he is about. Give me a couple of those that really stick out for you.
Yeah. I think I've got 3 things that are intangibles specific to me. Hard work. I think it is fair to say that I truly seek to outwork everybody in any room I'm in. That's been true throughout my college days to banana ball days to even in the classroom. Like I truly have a hard work ethic. Second, I would say an undeniable belief that something good is going to happen. I think a positive outlook on life is very important. I think if you work hard and pair that with a positive outlook and a good mindset of belief that something good's going to happen, I think that's where you generate your own luck in a way.
Right.
And then third, I would say adaptability. I think whether it be tearing a rotator cuff in college or COVID happening and not knowing what to do with myself, had plans to go to the MLB. There's all sorts of ideas that I had planned, but life happens and adaptability has been a true intangible that I may not have had from the get-go, but I've learned along the way.
Yeah.
So in sum, it would be hard work, an undeniable belief that something good is going to happen, and adaptability.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. I think it's important that, we all think about these things. And so as I ask you that question, have
hmm
you ever thought about what your intangibles are or
hmm
were?
hmm
Like, is it something that, we hear people talk about intangibles, but do we as human, unless we get to a certain age, we start thinking about these things, but at a young age, was there ever a time that you can start to really point to your intangibles at an earlier age than where you are now?
I think a large part of that for me has come from my dad.
Mm,
It's been something that he's preached to me. He's like, whenever you get in a room, you may not be the biggest, the fastest, the strongest, the smartest. What's going to separate you?
yeah.
And he's always pushed me to be a better version of myself. And so I think he's almost instilled those intangibles in me that have kind of carried on throughout my life. And that was from an early age at the T-ball field, or if it's doing homework whenever I didn't feel like it was the intangible of outworking everyone.
What you've done is taken all those pieces and you've transferred them into different aspects of your life,
Mhm.
into, from your sport, both sports,
Right.
to what you're doing now,
Mhm.
into content creation, all those different aspects. And so, thank your parents.
For sure.
Love on them,
Yes.
because that's where it all starts. But I really, really appreciate you coming in and sharing your story, talking about the banana ball and your experience, and then also just to, for us to learn really what it's all about.
Right.
To hearing the process to even get, to be seen,
Right.
and the fact that you guys are full of a locker room full of, great humans,
Mhm.
that's willing
Yes.
to lean in and be able to show up on camera in a way that can inspire people. Is making me gonna watch it even more, So I really appreciate
Come
you
on.
jumping in and sharing your story. But the last question I have for you is, I want to know, tell me why faith is so important to you.
You can go down debates and avenues of arguing scripture or God, but for me, you can't take away the belief in my heart.
Yeah.
And it was such a life change for me that I, Jesus died for me, so I need to live for him. That's my mindset. And whether that be just positive on social media, sharing the gospel, this season I put scripture, different Bible verses on my face every weekend, generating questions, pointing people, kind of reflecting my life towards God is essentially my purpose and my calling. Banana ball is what I'm doing right now, but that's not what I'm called to do.
Yeah.
I'm called to be a child of God. And the best way to do that is to love God, love people, and in banana ball, keep fans first.
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome, man.
sure.
Well, Nelson, this has been awesome, man. I really enjoyed the conversation.
This has been great.
Thank you for coming hanging out with me over here at the Tangible Podcast. Um, your story is truly inspiring because it
Mm,
it it shows one that we're constantly evolving,
right.
and you've shown that you can constantly evolve and take the things that you've learned from one environment to the next environment to the next environment. And so,
Mhm.
thank you for sharing that because I think a lot of people need to hear, that it never stops. The work never stops.
Right.
So, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.